What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe and follow on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Helps out the program, and I really appreciate it. Today's positive motivational message is stop procrastinating. You know there's a project that you need to get done. You know that there's something that you're pushing aside and saving for a later date, but really all you're doing is wasting time. You're being lazy. Take it from me, I literally spent the last hour and a half laying around, watching TV, scrolling on my phone, having already set up the stuff for the podcast, knowing I needed to do the podcasts. I got a lot of stuff I need to get done, but I'm just pushing it aside. And it's funny. So often I think about what am I going to say for the positive motivational message of the week. And I just have to look at my own life and be like, yeah, you should take your own advice. I just take the bad things that I'm doing in my life and using those as examples of trying to be positive. And maybe it'll help motivate me. But procrastination is a huge waste of time. You'll feel so much better once you get it done anyway, so you might as well just do it. Just put your foot down and do it. Get it done. And that's the message this week. So we're doing it. Here we are. We're doing it. We're here for another episode. And we'll get right into it. We got a lot of fun stories to tell. It's episode 253 of Life's a Garden. Oh yeah, back at it. Another week of the Life's a Garden podcast. Thank you all so much for joining me here this week. The episode that took forever to get started. Just sitting around, being lazy today. And I'll be honest with you, part of that is because I am nursing a bit of a hangover. So laying around felt really nice. But had to get this done, knew I had to get it done, still just couldn't get my brain in the right headspace to get the gears moving. So hopefully I'm at least somewhat entertaining this week. But once we get the gears flowing, it'll be good. You know what helps cure a hangover is a little air of the dog. So is it hair of the dog? Hair of the dog. Air of the dog. Hair of the dog. Whatever it is. Cheers to lazy hangovers. Hopefully this gets a little oil in the engine and we can start chugging along here. Ah, yes. Been a long week, fun week, very, very busy. Or what's the word I'm looking for? It's been a good week. You know, action-packed. There we go. It's been an action-packed week, and we'll dive right into it. First things first, I do want to thank everybody who came out to our show at Thirsty Street. Thank you to Thirsty Street for having us. It was awesome to play with Pressure Knot and the Old Ones. I am recording this before the show, so hopefully it did go well. I imagine it was a good time, as it always is. But for all of those that did come out, appreciate you. It's always appreciated for anytime we put on a show and for people to take time out of their day to come support and hopefully enjoy the music. Went and did radio on Friday for the to promote the show, which was awesome. I had a great time doing that. Shout out to Bamsky at 105.1 The Bone. First time I've ever done live radio. And that was a little nerve-wracking. Some people were asking me if I was nervous. And to be honest, no. Because I've been doing this for almost 6 years now. Is it really almost 6 years? That sounds about right. 5 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been 253 episodes that we've been doing this show. So I've gotten fairly used to talking on the microphone. I do think there's an added pressure when it's live. And also when you know there's people listening. Unlike this program where I'm just shouting into the void and maybe like 2 or 3 of you are actually listening. But yes, it's I was a little. The reason I was nervous, and I do think of anything that this has helped me with, it's being able to speak and kind. You know, I lose my train of thought all the time, and I can't figure out simple words. But I think I kind of I've gotten better about at least speaking understandably and not umming and erring and awing and trying to, do all that shit. At least I think so. You could tell me. And of course I'm going to overthink it and start umming and awing and losing my train of thought and being incoherent just because I'm overthinking it. But nonetheless, this has helped me with that. The thing I was worried about, having being on live radio, is trying not to cuss. Because, yeah, you're not supposed to cuss when you're on the radio, and as you may have noticed here on this show, I have a bit of a sailor's mouth. So, especially when I get on a rant, and sometimes it just slips. Sometimes you just slip a curse word out there, and you don't mean to, but it's just part of your vernacular. And so, I was a little worried about that. Fortunately, I had a couple other guys, Steve from the old ones, and Rob from Pressure Knot were joining me. So it was all of us together promoting our show. Hopefully that helped boost some numbers. And yeah, I'm excited for the show. I'm always excited to play. And this will be coming out afterwards. So again, for everybody that attended, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a good night. It's supposed to be really good weather. So yeah, we're going to have fun. Went out to Hooligans last night for a beach party. It was like wasn't really a beach party. It was a beginning of summer party. It was like the kickoff to summer. So that was fun and a little too fun. I had, I did not intend to stay out that late. I did not intend to consume that much alcohol, but I did. Because that's what I do. I'm just an absolute trash heap for the booze. I'm a booze hound. Once I get going, it's easy to keep going. How's that? I won't even say it's hard to stop. It's not hard to stop. It's just fun to keep going. And so that's how that ends up. Funny enough, we did just have Memorial Day. And I'll get to that here in a second, how my Memorial Day weekend went. But I did get a very funny, what do you call it, like a memory, when on Facebook, when it pops up as a memory. And this is what it was. It was exactly 10 years ago, okay? 10 years ago on Memorial Day weekend that I had my first alcoholic beverage. I believe it was a Blue Moon. And then, of course, I did not like that, so I switched to Angry Orchard. Hard cider. Real manly. But anyway, nonetheless, I did, in fact, have my first beer on 10 years ago, Memorial Day weekend. And I posted a picture on Facebook, me and my buddies having our beers. It was pretty well known through my family and my friends that I was straight edge, I guess you might say. I had never drank, and I stayed pretty solid in that belief that I wasn't going to drink. And so hang on one second. I just noticed something. We're going to cut right here. All right, sorry about that. I noticed I did not have my laptop charging. So at some point, this was going to just completely all go away. And I guarantee you, I would have just rage quit and not done this podcast at all for today, at least, because it's already been hard enough for me to actually get to doing this. And so if I would have had to restart everything, yeah, that would have been a problem. So, hey, I identified the issue and I fixed it. So here we are. We're continuing. Back to my story. I had my first alcoholic beverage, and like I said, everybody in my family, my friends, it was pretty well known that I wasn't really about that. Well, I made a conscious decision that I'm an adult. I always tell people that I started drinking when I was 23. That's a lie. If that was 10 years ago, I would have been 21, almost 22. So I don't know where that memory came from that I was 23, but no, I would have been 21. But I guess I just had made the conscious decision that I was an adult and I'm going to do what I want to do, kind of thing, you know? And so, yeah, I had my first beer. Well, my cousin Gabriel, who ironically is now sober, and he was a huge booze hound, but is now about a year and a half sober. Congratulations to him for that. He comments, there's one comment and one reply to this picture, okay? The only comment is from my cousin Gabriel, and it says, "What the fuck? Real booze? I think not, posers. Don't conform if you don't want to. Stick to your guns, cuz." He was looking out. Appreciate that. And my response to him was, trust me, this is not going to become a regular thing. I'm just in Missoula having with my best friends on Memorial Day weekend. Seemed like a good time to have my first. You know me well enough that I won't change who I am or what I stand for. Well, so much for that, huh? So much for sticking to my guns and not conforming and not changing who I am. Yeah, that went quite a bit the other direction. If I looking back retroactively and in retrospect, yeah, 10 years. That's 10 years will change a lot in your life. So I just thought that was funny that me and my sister over Memorial Day weekend were in Nashville, and that's pretty much what I did the whole time was just drink. Now, I didn't drink and get stupid drunk, but I was drinking the whole, we would go to bars and drink. And honestly, the drinking side of it isn't a problem to me. It's the drunk side. It's once you've had too much, and there's fun drunk, and then there's just stupid drunk. There's just drinking and for nothing. If you're having a good time, if you're enjoying something along with it, great. You'll still regret it in the morning. You'll still feel like shit. But if you're just drinking and then and the byproduct is you get drunk, that's all. You're not even really having fun. What's the point in that? That sucks. And that's where I kind of, not to say I've never done that. I certainly have. But it's just pointless. Really, it's dumb. It's a waste. Now let's talk about Nashville. Memorial Day weekend. Had 5 days off, which was badass. It was so nice. Haven't had a 5-day break in quite a while. I think since probably going to Ireland was the last time I had that long of a break from work. So that was really sweet. Got ourselves into some Music City Mischief over Memorial Day weekend. This was my Christmas present to my sister. So finally cashed in on that. We were actually supposed to go a few weeks before Memorial Day weekend, and it just worked out better to go on Memorial Day. And I didn't even realize it was Memorial Day weekend, so it worked out even better because I had an extra day off, paid day off. So, right on for that. Also, I do want to mention this too. Before we went to Nashville, I stopped procrastinating, something I had been doing for months now, and asked my boss for a raise, to which I was granted it. And this was something I'd been wanting to do for a while. I just kept pushing it aside and being like, oh, I'll just ask him late next week, or we'll try tomorrow, and it just never manifested. And finally I got off my ass and I asked my boss for a raise, and hey, that's why you got to stop procrastinating, because I finally did. I did it, and it paid off. Like, it's great. And then after I got a raise, I immediately turned around and took a vacation. So that's cool. Hey, thanks for the raise, boss. See you in 5 days. See you next week. I'm leaving tomorrow. Oh boy, yeah, that was kind of funny. But okay, so Nashville. Let's just get into it, man. First things first. So we flew out of Bozeman, had to drive to Bozeman, way cheaper flights. Now the problem with that is you got to drive back. So you have an epic weekend, you have a long weekend, you're tired, you had an early morning flight in our situation. But either way, you had a lot of fun, you're dragging ass after vacation, and then you get home and you gotta hop in a car and drive 2 more hours. That aspect sucks. The saving money part is great. It just sucks that Bozeman's 2 hours away. So that's what we did, went to Bozeman. Early flight out, early flight back. So that kind of sucked. It was nice because we had a full day Friday in Nashville. The early Monday morning was not pleasant. We kept it chill on Sunday night, but still, I just can't. I hate waking up early at all. Hotel we stayed in was super, super nice. Can I be honest with you? A lot of people don't like hotels. They're not hotel, people bitch about having to stay in hotels, or they're like, just the idea of being in a hotel. A lot of people just don't like it. I'm the opposite. I love a hotel. Like, there are certainly hotels that are worse than others, and I don't want to stay at a bad hotel. So as long as you're staying in a decent hotel, your experience should be fine. This one, it had like really tall, it was kind of like made to look like a loft almost. Super nice. Like the mirror had Bluetooth, so you could Bluetooth your phone and play music out of the mirror. Bathroom was great, beds were great. It was awesome. And it was just a beautiful hotel. There was a nice rooftop bar and restaurant. For the price that I paid for that thing, it was damn near luxury, in my opinion, based on like most hotels that I stay at. And it was pretty close to downtown. Like, we really could have walked. Of course we didn't. I'm on vacation. I'm not trying to walk 30 minutes everywhere. No, we took a 2-minute Uber because I'm lazy and I'm on vacation. I don't feel like getting tired before I go party. Shit. Okay, so just back to the hotel thing. I like a hotel. For one, it's so freeing to like just throw your dirty towels down and not have to like worry about doing the laundry. Like, obviously I'm gonna be kind of tidy. I'm not gonna be rude to the housekeepers. But you could just leave trash. We had a pizza box that we just left, and because I'm paying for somebody to clean that. Like, I paid a lot for this room. I'll wipe my nose on the fucking sheets. I'm reckless in a hotel room. I don't give a shit. Like, I will go, I draw the line at peeing in the bed. Like, I won't do that. I'm not gonna be gross. But yeah, I'll wipe my nose on the sheets and like wipe my mouth if I have, like, they're getting washed anyway, who cares? Yeah, it's not my house. I'm renting the space. Again, there is towing a line of being overtly rude but it's way less than what I will do in my own bed, I'll tell you that, or my own bathroom, you know. I'm going to make sure my shit's nice and tidy here at home. Hotel, fuck it. Gloves are off, pal. I'm going to be a kid in here, you know? I'm going to eat in bed and I'm going to fucking wipe my fingers on shit. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. Especially on the last day, because now I really don't have to deal with that. So I'm a hotel guy. I like a hotel more than an Airbnb because, first of all, and I understand what people like about an Airbnb, that being that you have more space. Sometimes there's even a backyard you can hang out in. You know, you got a full kitchen, separate bedrooms, so everybody has their own privacy. I totally understand, and I've never had a bad experience at an Airbnb. But the thought that somebody out there has a key and could just come in at any minute, that's a little terrifying. And, you know, you're in a neighborhood that you're unfamiliar with. Not to say I've been in sketchy neighborhoods in my Airbnbs, but you just never know. You don't know who your neighbors are. You're not accustomed to where you're staying. You don't know anything about it. A hotel, I feel like a hotel, you just know what you're getting. You know what to expect. There's a level of, like, security, I feel, being in a hotel. Like, granted, yes, any of those employees could have a key and just walk right in, too. But, I don't know. I guess for me, I just have this level of comfort that I don't have from an Airbnb. If that makes sense. Back to the trip. So, hotel was great. Night one, we kind of just checked out Broadway and bar hopped, did all that stuff, went to Tootsie's, I'll break down all the great bars we went to later. But yeah, we did the Broadway thing. Night two, we went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, which was dope. It wasn't, it was kind of more like a museum, I would say, which, you know, it makes sense. You're basically just looking at old outfits and guitars. They had some cars in there. So that I really liked it. I'm not a big country music guy, so I don't think it really resonated with me quite the same way that it would with somebody who is a big country music fan. They had like Elvis stuff in there though. They had Johnny Cash stuff. That's pretty dope. And then for some reason they had like a whole display of like the current country stars. I'm like, I don't know if they've earned the right to be in a museum just yet. Like, it's funny to see, you know, Dolly Parton's dresses and like some of the stuff that the old country stars wore. Very like dapper, very like showman-y, like kind of bedazzled and jewels, and then you go to Morgan Wallen's display and it's just jeans, a shirt, and a hat, and it's like, what the like, this is just a guy's out. This anybody could wear this. It's not like stage wear, you know. At least with like a guy like Toby Keith, he had like a little bit of a signature look in a way. And to be fair, most of these guys do. I'm pretty sure they had Kane Brown had a display, and it was just a black tank top because that's what he wears all the time. So that was funny to see, like, the evolution where it's like so simple now. They did have a Taylor Swift thing, which I'm actually stunned wasn't just being absolutely like overrun by white bitches. Shabuzi even had a thing. Like, he just started doing country. They had like one little thing talking about Beyonce. That was kind of funny that they dismissed that in a way. But like Post Malone, you know, a lot of these new guys had displays too, which I just kind of found a little bit funny. But then you finally go into the actual Hall of Fame where it's a big circle. They have all the plaques and they say like when they were inducted and stuff. So that was cool. It was cool to see all that. Then we went to the Grand Ole Opry, which was super cool. I mean, you could just feel the history in that building. The show we saw there, it was kind of just like a medley of artists. They've been doing like they're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Grand Ole Opry. So on those nights, they kind of just do like 6 or 7 different artists, and each artist plays maybe like 3 or 4 songs each. So we saw a couple of old school guys who were like Hall of Famers. Bill Anderson is his name, and Don Schlitz were both there, and then a couple new guys, a couple younger guys. Bryce Leatherwood, I guess he won The Voice, so it was cool just to be there. And in between, they would kind of give you some history about the Opry, and they'd tell you stories about like the 100 years of the Opry. So it was cool. It was cool to be there. Just a very, very awesome venue. So was very glad to have gone and done that. It was a bitch getting out of there, but it was worth it. And then day 3, we kind of just hung out. Like I said, we took it a little easier because we had an early flight. Didn't want to get trashed and then have to get on a plane and then again, like I said, drive 2 hours home. So we kind of just relaxed. We did go out a little bit more to Broadway. Now let me tell you this: the one thing that never disappointed while we were down there, and I'm not saying that much did, but the food, brother, the food in Nashville was top tier. Unbelievable. I had the single best mac and cheese that I've had in my life. Like, I'm still dreaming of that mac and cheese. Honestly, it kind of sucks that I had it because every other mac and cheese just will never compare. Like, I will always be seeking that mac and cheese again. And I'll never, unless I go back there, I'm not going to have that experience, especially here in Billings. Unless one comes along that's better. But good luck with that, because this thing was phenomenal. I want to look up the restaurant just to give them a bless me. The spring weather brings along the allergies with it. But I do want to look up the restaurant because I want to give them a shout out. Nashville Broadway. But while I'm looking that up, shout out to the Sun Diner. Great breakfast. The 2 breakfast places we had were phenomenal. The Sun Diner and the Pancake Pantry. Phenomenal. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to, here's just a little tip for anybody who's going to Nashville, okay? First of all, never order an Uber on Broadway. Like, that's just stupid. We didn't do that, so I'm just telling you, we're not stupid. Like, I understood the assignment. All you have to do is walk 2 blocks away from Broadway, and then Uber will pick you up, no problem. There'll be almost zero traffic. The amount of traffic jams I saw on the cross streets for Broadway, I'm like, why would anybody ever drive down these streets? It's insane. You can't even hardly... At night, they completely block off Broadway. Like, the through streets are still going, but people are just walking along. And people are so disrespectful to the traffic signals and all that. People will just be walking when it's a green light, and it's like, dude, this is... I can't believe more people didn't get run over, to be honest. But that's just a little tip for anybody who might want to go to Nashville. Just walk 2 blocks away, and you'll be in a perfect spot to get picked up. Okay. I'm looking for... This makes for great podcasting, by the way. But they deserve a shout out because, again, it was the single best mac and cheese I've ever had. Nashville. I'll find it right away because I know I have a great sense of direction, okay? Just so y'all know. I'm killer at directions. So all I got to do is look and I'll find the through street. I just got to know where. There it is right there. It was the Stillery is the name of the place. The Stillery. Best mac and cheese of my life. They had a great burger too. We split a burger and we split the mac and cheese. The mac and cheese, nothing compares. And honestly, great service everywhere too. I want to point that out too. Great service. Now, let's break down the bars, okay? Because the last time I went to Nashville, didn't really do a whole lot of bar hopping. We kind of stuck to the same couple of bars. and because we were there for a football game. This time around, I was determined to check out, especially bars I had not been to. Very few, none of them really disappointed. There's just some that are a little bit better than others. And I'm basing this on a few things. I'm basing it on layout. I'm basing it on originality. I'm basing it on entertainment value, drink prices, because some bars you go to, especially if it has a name attached to it, like if it's Blake Shelton's bar, beers are going to be like $10 to $11. You go to a place like the Tin Roof, which is like a little dive bar on Broadway, $6 beers. You know, still expensive, but that's a huge price difference from like a bar that's a block away from each other on Broadway still. But because it doesn't have a name attached to it, it's not like so-and-so, it's not Miranda Lambert's bar. Fuck, the shots at Miranda Lambert's bar were like $15. Get the fuck out of my face. What are you doing, Miranda? Just trying to take all my money while I'm trying to get drunk and drink tequila? Bitch. So, like I said, I was determined to go check out a lot of these. My criteria is what I was talking about. I'm not putting food into this because we really didn't eat at a lot of any of these bars. Just overall entertainment, music selection, stage, the stage aspect of things, because every bar is a music bar, so that's a huge part of it. Sound systems, stage. A lot of these bars had first level will have a band, and then some of those middle levels will have like a DJ, and then another band on the top. So they kind of mix it up more, where there's actual like DJ music, dance music. So it was cool to have like a variety. And I'm not basing these bars on the bands in particular that were playing. That's a different list, because you can have different bands all the time. So here is my list of the best bars that. So I haven't been to all of them. Okay, I haven't been to all of them. So take that with a grain of salt. Honorable mention to Tootsie's. Okay, classic. It's iconic. Little crowded in there because it is smaller. Definitely more up my alley with it being a divey bar. So I love that. It's the iconic side of it gives it the honorable mention. But other than that, it just doesn't compare to these other ones. Okay. Like I said, these are just my experience from the bars that I've seen there. Okay. Barstool is number 5. The Barstool bar was awesome. We were getting ready to leave one night. It was like 1 in the morning. We were walking to get our Uber, and there was a line out of the Barstool bar, like the longest line I've seen that we saw down there. So clearly there was something to see. There was something going like that. People were going in there for a reason. So the next day, that's when we went in there, and I understood. It was badass. Only like 2 levels, but just a cool little bar. I really liked that. And I'm a big Barstool fan. That's why I got this hat. So, shout out to Barstool. Number 4. There's a blues bar. I can't remember the actual name of it, but there is a blues bar on Printer's Alley. It's designed to look like Bourbon Street style. So it's very it's got that New Orleans vibe in there. It's a smaller place, but it's just, there's a vibe about it, okay? And I went there the last time I went to Nashville, went there again. It's my memory stands strong in that. Number 3, Jelly Rolls Bar. Jelly Rolls Bar, I don't even think it existed the last time I was down there. Fucking badass. The upper level with the dance area and the rooftop was just second to none. You know, it was probably my favorite rooftop that we went to. And just, again, vibe. It was great. Now, I will say this. The one downside to Jelly Rolls Bar, they don't sell Coors Light, because Jelly Roll is sponsored by Bud Light, so they only serve Bud products. So that sucked. And I should probably knock them down. In fact, Jelly Rolls goes down to 4. The Blues Bar moves up to 3, just because they don't serve Coors Light. But Jelly Rolls is still a badass bar. Number 2, and this one shocked me, because we went in here, I just had to go to the bathroom, so we went in late one night, and then went back the next day because it was so badass. And seeing it in the daylight just changed my entire perspective on this. Lainey Wilson's bar, not super huge. The layout is phenomenal. This rooftop was, it wasn't as poppin' as Jelly Rolls, but the layout and just the setup was top notch. It's big, spacious, great stage setups, looks like a great restaurant area, and then the downstairs is where it's at. It's a piano bar, and the stage is low. It's so that, like, you walk in, and then it goes down, and the stage is in the center of the room. So you're like looking, you can see them like straight on. It was just so cool. And the downstairs was very almost like old school 20s bootlegger style is what it felt like. Dude, it was, Lainey Wilson's bar shocked me because I was not expecting that. I had not heard any reviews. Nobody like brought that up to me. That was my favorite. Like, that was my dark horse that I just wasn't expecting, and it blew my balls off. And number one was Morgan Wallen's bar. It was such a badass bar. I had to buy a t-shirt. It was that cool. This is infamously the same bar that he threw a chair off the roof of. It's huge. Like, space-wise, not really huge, but it goes way the fuck up. And there's like 6 levels, I think. The restaurant is dead center. Restaurant looked phenomenal. We did not eat there, but it looked great. The second floor, or like the second music level, which I think was like the 4th floor, had it was like the DJ music and stuff. And then the rooftop was awesome. The bar setups were great. You could get drinks real easy. Not the most expensive beers as far as a name bar goes, like a Star's name, label on the bar. So we just had the most fun there, is basically what it came down to. We just had a great time. It was so fun. We went back every single day for just to check it out at some point. It was that fun. So Morgan Wallen's bar was number one. And honestly, I probably liked Lainey Wilson's better as far as setup and layout and just the stages and all that. But just the fact that we had so much fun at Wallen's bar, it was basically the icing on the cake for me to make that the number one. Now, as far as bands go, I'm not even going to mention bands because I don't remember their names per se. But we saw a lot of really great musicians. Shout out to all the great musicians in Nashville, working hard, making money doing it. It's the dream. So there was a lot of talented musicians. I will shout out one band because they are the band that I remembered from the last time I went to Nashville. Caught them again this time, and my memory served me correctly that they were awesome. And that is Jackson Kapp. Jackson Kapp is the singer, but Jackson Kapp and his band were fucking phenomenal. If you're ever in Nashville, make sure you go check out Jackson Kapp. We sat there for 3 hours and watched Jackson Kapp because it was heavily raining outside, so it was perfect that we got to sit and actually watch a band for... That was the one time we actually sat and, like, were there for the music aside from the Opry. So every other time it was just going in, checking the bars out, listening to a couple tunes, and then let's check out upstairs. Now let's go to the next bar. You know, it was kind of just doing a lot of that. So that was the whole trip, basically, you know. We had a great time. It was awesome to hang out, spend that time with my sister. I thought about it after the trip. That was the first... That's the longest time I've spent with my sister, like, consecutively since we were children. And even then, I don't think we spent, like, that much time together, like, days at a time, you know, because I was hanging out with my friends or she was hanging out with her friends. You know, we weren't always just together the entire time for a 3-day span. So that is probably the longest I've spent with my sister consecutively in my life, perhaps. But definitely dating back to when we were children. And honestly, I'm going to be completely honest, I was a little nervous about it. You know, we're adults now. It's been a long time. We have our own shit going on. I was kind of like, you know, sometimes I feel like I've been, you know, not the best, most present brother in our adult life. So I hold a little bit of guilt to that. You know, even me and my brother, we hang out a lot more often than me and my sister. So there is an aspect, and, you know, I know it's a two-way street. We can both do better at that. But there was part of me that was a little nervous about, you know, just... was it going to be weird, I guess? And no, it was great. We talked, we bonded a little bit. You know, we had some real conversations about real-life shit. Nothing felt weird. It was great, and I don't know if she feels the same way. You know, she might have a completely different perspective on this. I think the fact that I'm the older brother, I feel like I should be better about that, you know? So I do hold myself to a little bit of a standard where I feel like I've failed in a way. But it was great. You know, we got to have this experience. I was very happy that everything was great. Oh, by the way, I should mention, hey, only got brought up only was asked one time if we were dating, so didn't have to deal with that very often, which was great. And not a lot of dudes hitting on her, so that was great too. And can I just say, I don't know what it is, and maybe everybody kind of feels this way, but I feel like I just have the best luck sometimes. I feel like life and God is just looking out for me sometimes, because there were so many times where we would just happen to walk into a space and it was just the perfect situation. Like a great band, nobody there. You know, I can't really explain it. Or, you know, there was times where we were thinking about, well, let's eat there. Let's check out this other place. Maybe we'll eat here. And then finally settled on the Distillery and had the best mac and cheese of my life. Like, that could have maybe not happened. There was a time when we were waiting in the line for the pancake pantry. I was like thinking, maybe we should go somewhere else and not wait. No, we waited, and it was awesome. So glad we didn't leave. Just certain bands that we would pop in on and be like, damn, like I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to like just stumble upon these guys. Or it felt like luck was on our side so many times. The fact that we got into Kid Rock's bar just before it started downpouring and got to see the band that I was waiting to see. The fact that we were able to get out of the Opry like fairly decent. You know, it was a little bit of a chaos, but everything just... So often I think about this in my life where I'm like, man, sometimes things just work out for me. Now, that's not always the case, so just talking to you, big dog up there, like, I'm not looking for some comeback on this, okay? I'm not looking to be proven wrong here. So please keep the good shit coming. There's just so many times I'm like, damn, things just work out. And I love it, and it's just nice. And maybe everybody else just has that because it's their own story, and they think that, but this time there was just so many things that didn't go wrong. All of our Uber drivers were super nice, super, like, not weird, and it was great, man. It was great. Yeah. So, that was the vacation. This is just going to be the Nashville episode where I'm just talking about Nashville the whole time, basically. So, I am wrapping it up on the Nashville thing, but just wanted to say it was a great time. We had fun, and I was glad I got to spend that time with my sister and bond a little bit. Have a little sibling bonding. Other things I do want to talk about, just because... Oh, actually, you know what? I have this on the list, and I have to talk about this. This is one more Nashville thing. It's not even really a Nashville thing. It's just an observation I made while in Nashville. I am so fucking thankful that I am not a short guy. Now, I'm not tall by any standard. I would say I'm probably average. I would say I'm the perfect height, to be honest. I mean, 6'1" could be probably a little better. I want to say I'm 5'11". I might be 6. Either way, 5'11", 6 foot, don't matter. I'm happy with it. I'm so happy with it because if I was any taller, I feel like I would stand out too much. And if I was shorter, dude, I ain't getting no bitches. You gotta have a hell of a personality, dude. I mean, the equivalent of chicks with just being beautiful is, or being thin and being fit naturally, is the equivalent of a man being short. Like, you can't really help that. I know you can help fitness, you can do better with that, but like, there's just some people that just aren't. You're just born not good looking, I guess. And you could be a good looking guy but if you're 5'5", dude, or if you're 5'6", you're fucked. I remember seeing some short guys just struggling. First of all, they can't see over anybody, but it's just like, you could tell these dudes get picked on by other dudes. They're not threatening at all, and chicks just aren't into that. And I just remember seeing like a few short guys who were actually good-looking dudes, and I'm like, dude, you just fucking had a shit luck of the draw. And I just feel bad for these short guys. Short kings, man. I mean, I'm not going to look down on you. Well, I am technically going to look down on you, but I'm not going to disrespect you because, dude, unless you're an asshole, I'll use that against you. I'm going to use your fucking size against you. But I feel. I really do. I feel for them because life's just got to be so fucking hard. I mean, it's just a bummer. It really is. So, just thanking God that he gifted me with some level of height, because life would just be so different if I was a short guy. And I'm not talking about 5'10", 5'9". That's not bad. Once you start dipping below 5'9", it's starting to get to be a struggle for you. You know what I'm saying? Like 5'10", 5'9" is reasonable. Below that, you're starting to struggle. And honestly, same kind of goes for tall chicks. It's probably tough being a tall chick. I mean, just because it's different, I guess. But I think I would rather be a tall chick than a short guy. And I think everybody would agree with that. What else do I got on my list here? Oh, yeah, so completely different topic. I know you're probably psyched. If you've even made it this far, you're probably so checked out at this point. Because here I am just blabbing away about my vacation, which I don't give a shit. It's my podcast. Deal with it. And I'm giving you good tips. I'm giving you good, I'm hopefully it's incentivized you to go to Nashville, because guess what? It's great. Guess what? It's fucking awesome, and you should go. So I'm promoting Nashville. Oh, you know what else is badass about Nashville? Their flag is a Dragon Ball. For real. Their flag is the 3-star Dragon Ball, and the 3-star Dragon Ball is my favorite one because 3 is my lucky number. So that's pretty badass. And I believe that's the Nashville flag. It's not the Tennessee flag, is it? Is it the Tennessee flag or the Nashville flag? I'm going to look it up. Tennessee flag. Oh, it is the Tennessee flag. Okay. So the Tennessee flag is a Dragon Ball. Go look it up. Tell me I'm wrong. It's a fucking Dragon Ball. That's badass. So, definitely, I do recommend, highly. I will be going back to Nashville for sure. I personally think Nashville is more fun than Vegas, and it's way cheaper. And that's not saying much, because it is expensive. But I think it's cheaper than Vegas. I certainly spent less. Okay, different topic, though. By now, everybody who knows anything has heard of Oliver, aka Sailing with Phoenix. Phoenix being his cat. This is the gentleman who liquidated his 401k, bought a sailboat, and sailed from Oregon to Hawaii. This guy has become very internet famous. He has gained a huge following, gone viral, and it's a very inspirational story, okay? The first thing I want to say is, I stumbled upon this guy kind of just before he blew up, so I was part of, the build-up for him. I definitely didn't find him so early on, but I started watching his stuff probably about a week or so before he really blew up. And I thought to myself, man, I found a gem here. I found a diamond. And I was hoping to be able to come on this podcast and promote him and talk about him as if he was somebody that I discovered that I could turn everybody onto. But he blew up, and good for him. I'm so glad. It was just funny to me. I was like, oh man, this, like, I was immediately invested. I loved his story. I loved watching his videos. And so I was immediately invested. And I thought to myself, that I thought that maybe I had found something special. But I mean, I did. He is awesome and he is special. But it's just funny that everybody else also was thinking the same thing. Like, everybody else was like on the. It's those things that make me think that I'm just a basic bitch. That everything I like is things that everybody likes. Like, I don't like anything obscure, really. You know? So, like, I immediately get attached to this one thing, and then everybody's like, yeah, that is awesome. Of course. So why wouldn't I be interested? While we were in Nashville, he did, in fact, make it to Hawaii. He's been, like, embraced with open arms. I'm glad to hear he's been making money on this, because he quit his job. He liquidated his 401k. I'm not sure how old he is. Seems like a really just nice guy. And I think that's the thing about it. I think that's the thing that people like. It's not necessarily the fact that he's doing what he's, you know, he's like experiencing his dream. He said kind of fuck you to corporate America and just decided that his day job wasn't worth the life he was spending. I think he has like a disease too. It's like a bone disease. So he's like, fuck this, life's too short. You know, I'm going to go sail around the world. I'm going to, you know, love it. It's a great inspirational story. It really is. If you don't know who this is, Sailing with Phoenix, check it out, dude. It's so cool. But he's blowing up everywhere. Like, he's going to be on all the talk shows. He's going to be on, like, you know, the Today Show. And you know this is going to happen. If it hasn't already. He's probably had multiple, like, interviews, like, Zoom interviews. Even Joe Rogan was just talking about him. Joe Rogan shouted him out and I guess followed him on YouTube, is what he said. That's so cool. Like, to think that this guy could easily go on Joe Rogan. But like I was going to say, it's not really the story that I think people have attached themselves to with this guy. It's him. He's just, you can just tell he's genuinely a nice guy. Like, he's just a fun, like, there's something about him that is lovable. And I understand why people attach themselves to this guy, because he just seems like a genuine guy. Like a kind soul. And I'm just happy for his success. I'm glad that he's, you know, doing what he has dreamt of, and I'm glad it's not going unnoticed. And hopefully it will inspire other people to fulfill their dreams and to not get stuck in the corporate rut and just, you know, fade out like that. But yeah, it was one of those things where I noticed it and I thought I had, like, discovered something new and exciting and original, and come to find out everybody's on the train. So nonetheless, it was very, you know, I'm very happy for him and glad he made it to Hawaii safely. That would be terrifying to be on the open water, like at night when it's pitch fucking blackout. You don't know what's out there. You don't know, like, think about what's below you, dude. Fuck that. Like, on a little sailboat, like, I'm sure it's a decent size, but still, dude, the waves crashing, like, I would get terrible seasickness, and he said he did too. But, like, storms, like, you don't know what's gonna come in, and man, it's that the idea of that is just absolutely terrifying. And I'm not a big sorry, distracted. But yes, good for him. Oliver is his name, and I wish him well. It's a fun story, and I can't help myself but watch his videos every day. You know, like, let me see if he's even got one up right now that I'll just play the audio of, because he always pops into my stories. It doesn't look like he has one. See what his last one was. Sailing. There he is. My boy. See what his last story was.
Hello. I am still cleaning the boat. It's going to take me several days because I'm only doing like a small amount every day. Because that's the way it is. And, but yeah, I need to get I think today I need to go get a P.O. box.
Good guy. Just a good guy. That's pretty much it for this. I mean, I guess I'll kill a couple more minutes here just by talking about the NBA and the NHL. We're set for the finals in the NHL. It's going to be the Oilers versus the the Oilers versus the Panthers, the Florida Panthers. Again, same exact matchup we had last year. So that's super exciting, and I'm fairly certain that the Panthers are going to win again. It would be kind of cool to see Edmonton win, just so it would be something different. And Connor McDavid truly does deserve it. But I kind of like the whole Canada hasn't won in a long time. But it's going to end at some point, so why not now? Florida's just playing outstanding. So my prediction is Florida. We'll see what happens. I hate that it's the same thing again. And this is Florida's third time in a row making it to the championship. That's pretty cool. And then we're still waiting to find out about the Knicks and the Pacers. Game 6 is tonight. The Pacers are up 3-2 on the Knicks. But the Thunder are already there. The Thunder are going to the championship. They're probably going to win the whole thing, to be honest with you. Which I guess is fine, because I think if anything, this proves that the Nuggets are still legit. The Thunder only lost 4 games in the playoffs altogether. 3 of those 4 losses were to my Denver Nuggets. So I think that proves a lot, that we are still a very competitive team. We just need to add a couple more pieces and we'll be there. You know, I was really down on the Nuggets for losing, but if anything, the way they took the Thunder to a 7-game series, and several times could have beat them, you know, so I'm excited for the future of the Nuggets. We also got Sean O'Malley fighting in the UFC this Saturday. Excited about that. Love me some Sean O'Malley, Montana boy. So, of course, I will be watching that. Also have my cousin's wedding to come up to. My cousin's wedding is on the same day, so have to try and figure that out. But I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure we'll be able to make it happen, because the fight's not going to be till way later. Yeah, got a lot of stuff happening. We'll wrap it up with that. You know, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, thank you to everybody that came out to the show this weekend. Always a pleasure to perform and entertain and do the thing that I love. Like I said, Phoenix. I want to call him Phoenix, but his name's Oliver. He's living his dream. I'm living my dream. It's awesome. So live your dream. Stop procrastinating. Get off your ass. Go do something to pursue your dream. That's the thing. Oliver he stopped procrastinating. He wasn't just going to let the day by day consume him. He decided he wanted to do something about it, and he did. So get off your ass, go do something, be productive, and yeah. That's the go to Nashville. Hey, there's something to do. Go to Nashville, and take these tips and use them for and I think you'll have a good time. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.